Chapter 3 The Breath of the Intellect. A surge of the intellect was then mightily stirring the European atmosphere. Its impulse had been furnished by humanism, the result of that Italian Renaissance in which medieval man had been destroyed, to bring forth modern man. Spanish circumnavigators of the earth had proved its spherical shape and had helped to replace the Ptolemaic system with the cosmos of Copernicus. The secretary of the Florentine Republic, Niccolò Machiavelli, had described with powerful realism the nature of man, of power, of the state, and of the forces of society, which made politics what they were. The German monk Martin Luther had added up the total of century-old discontents with the Church, and had opposed the hierarchy of the Church with the doctrine of direct communion with God, based upon the Bible and a free confessional congregation, until he had betrayed it to the German princelings. But in those countries that followed him and his Protestantism, spiritual freedom and empirical research were possible from then on in place of servitude and blind faith. Soon the explosive effects of thought shook all the structures of ideas which had been created according to authoritarian blueprints. Giordano Bruno, an emigrant for the sake of truth and investigation, denied the authorities, taught the infinity and inexhaustibility of the universe, which was governed by a universal force of evolution, and substituted for the Christian religion one of nature, indicating that to him all religions seemed a mixture of symbols and superstitious concepts. When, in 1600, a defenseless prisoner in Rome, he was asked to retract these doctrines. He refused to surrender his convictions, and was burned at the stake like any heretic or Marano, thus affirming the greatness of human thinking by the sacrifice of his life. As a contrast in character and theory, we may take Francis Bacon, who betrayed a friend, who was convicted of bribery, who died in 1626, Lord Chancellor and Lord Verulam, who yet served the progress of reason as well as Bruno, by introducing the experiment in natural science. And basing knowledge upon it, he permitted conclusions to be drawn from it alone, and subjected the thinking powers of man himself to his criticism, showing sources of error in them. He and his fellow countryman Hobbes, who died as late as 1679, were followed by that generation of modern thinkers and scientists who were all contemporaries of Spinoza. The Italian Galileo died in 1642. The Dutchman Grotius in 1645, and the Frenchman Descartes in 1650. The year 1642 was that in which the Englishman Newton was born, and in 1646 the German Leibniz. Galileo was the founder of modern astronomy. Grotius founded international law, Descartes philosophy, Newton physics with all its branches, and Leibniz founded higher mathematics and the theory that the universe consisted of monads, for which we may safely read ions today. In the same year as Spinoza, 1632, the Dutchman Leeuwenhoek was born, who was the first to observe the world of microbes under a microscope, and who prepared the way for modern biology. Thus, on the threshold between two eras, we look into the world of Spinoza, our backs still shadowed by yesterday, while we are already facing today and eternal today.